Hello, my lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I'm Hanyo, your Divine Cinephile, and I want to talk about the third episode of Talamasca, Secret Order. I haven't got a chance to sit down and record this. I've been very kind of hectic in the real world, but I think I'm okay. So I still having very mixed opinions on this show. I'm It's definitely better than Mayfair Witches. Not as good as Interview with a Vampire. But I'm not sure if I think it's a good show yet. We're halfway through. We still got three more episodes to go. But let's start with this third episode. So the episode starts off in a flashback to 1972 in the Amsterdam Mother House, which we did see a little bit of this house in season 2 of Mayfair Witches. We didn't really get to explore it though, except for Lasher's original body, but who freaking cares? That show's goddamn trash. But we do get a couple of good Easter eggs. We get one Easter egg where we see a book that mentions Armando, so Armand's second name, and a mention of Pandora, which is this is the first time Pandora has been mentioned in this reimagining of Anne Rice's world. So that is very fun. That's really cool. Pandora is a very interesting character, and I can't wait to see how they portray her in the Queen of the Dam adaptation. And apparently, this is a direct quote from the book Blood and Gold, which is I think it's the sixth or seventh book of the Chronicles. I have not read Blood and Gold. I have a copy of Blood and Gold. I have not read it yet, so that's on my list to do. One really cool Easter egg that I found was there was a page of the Mayfair Witches document, which I think is a direct quote too, because in The Witching Hour, the first book of the Witch trilogy by Anne Rice, in The Witching Hour, there's this whole document that takes up a good middle chunk of the whole book. It's basically everything about the history of the Mayfair witches, how they began, the first witch, and basically everything. It is single-handedly the best part of that novel. And the factor that pissed me complete the fuck off when they decided not to barely adapt a single lick of it in the TV show because I'm just gonna move the microphone a little bit because those creators thought they could just do better than Anne Rice, which I know Anne Rice is a little bit controversial with how she wrote certain things, which I'll admit is not your cup of tea. I understand, but don't agree to work on a fucking show adapting her material if you don't like her material. I mean, you can tell the Mayfair people do not like the books. Um, but yeah, that is our basic opening. And then after that, we transition back to the modern time, and we are getting more of those police officers that we saw in episode 2. And they are looking at Kevis's and Archie's body. They're surveying the crime scene. And they are building a mystery, so there was a confirmed third person there. And they probably think it's God, but we know it's not God because there's no way that God killed those people. But we know that, but they don't know that. And they're definitely making the lady detective more of a main character now because the fat guy is just a drunk who just want to do his work. I I don't know how I feel about this because this is a limited TV show or series, whatever you want to call it. It only has 6 episodes. I feel it. I mean, you can introduce a new major character late in the game if that's your desire. It's I want let's wait to the end of the season to see how it concludes. But I'm not liking this. I'm not liking it. I think she should have been introduced probably in episode 1, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Both go by so far, and but I do like how we pick up with Guy immediately because the first 2 episodes were pretty decently paced, a bit slow, but I wouldn't say bad. This though, we really pick up the pace because as soon as we meet Guy, he's at work, he sees the dead drop, goes to the dead drop, gets the location, meets Helen, and it's very, very quick, which I like this new pacing. I like that they realize like we don't have a lot of time with this show. Let's kind of speed this up a bit. And I like Guy's reaction when he meets Helen. She's like, he's offering him a bit of tea, and he just slaps the shit out of her fucking hand. Like you sent me to a fine. I saw a dead body. I saw two dead bodies, and there's these weirdos people, and I'm being followed. His crash out is so well earned, and I still kind of mix upon the actor and how they're writing this character. But this one, I like this. I like that Guy is admitting that he's way out over his head. He's not a spy. He's not as clever to do all this as he should be. He did go to college. I guess that's depending if how smart you are. But yeah, he's a mind reader. No, you think he should be able to figure some things out. But who might know? We get reintroduced to the sexy lady him and Kevis were making out with last episode. Her name is Olive. She's his handler. She seems normal human. She doesn't seem to have any kind of gift. So I was right from last episode. Kevis is a witch. She was a witch, but she was not Talamasca. She's a part of a local coven, and she was sent to spy on Guy because she knew he was Talamasca, and she was trying to figure out if he was a friendly or not. So I guess that kind of concludes with the idea that what she said. While they were having sex, she said, "I'm not supposed to do this." So I guess I was slightly wrong. She wasn't an insidious character, but it would still been nice to have a good little shocking, like, oh, she was a witch. Because anyone who's watching the show already knows she was a witch. It's kind of obvious. When you see a girl with a big old spooky book, you kind of assume witches. We already know witches exist in this world. And we finally get the big old explanation on what the frick is the 752. Alright, so apparently when all that stuff burned down back in 1972, that was the main library of the Talamasca. That's where they kept all their big important books and scrolls and spells and junk. And it all went up in flame. But apparently there was a mysterious backup that they, for some reason, called 752. And I like how Helen is explaining the 752 because she's like, we're not exactly sure what it is. It could either be a book, it could be Pandora's box, it could be some mysterious cipher. Or I kind of like they're kind of exploring all the mysteries. I think it'd probably been better to give a big hint on what the 752 was and the first episode. Maybe some people talking about it. But I think it'd be kind of cool for us to figure out for having the audience guess what the 752 looked like. Like maybe we saw a book and then it was real that wasn't 752. Maybe we saw a chest, this big old urn of Pandora, and people are like, oh, maybe that's the 752. Maybe you open it up and you get all this information. I don't know, it'd be kind of cool if it was like a weird Easter egg hunt. But maybe not for 6 episodes. Who knows? And so yeah, it was kind of confirmed here that Guy had the chance to get to 752. The book Kevis had in her backpack was the archive, and he did not know anything about it. Just left it there in the thing. If Helen was upfront and honest about him on what the 752 is and what they were looking for, he could have got it right then and there when Archie was bleeding out. But this is what happens when you don't trust your ops. Yeah, but I'm really do liking Guy now, especially the actor, because the first 2 episodes he had that fun, naive charm about him, and here though you get to see him really explode with anger and fury. Like, he is pissed off this entire episode. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. The actor's making it work. But yeah, God really should grab the book when he did last episode, because he goes back to Kev's house and it's not there. No book. I don't think the backpack was there. So he leaves their apartment. He goes to Kev's coven. So Kevis is a part of this was a part of this witch coven, who is a group of women who all live on one big houseboat. The boat did not look that really big enough to have all those people living on it at one. So, but who am I to say? We didn't really get a good look at it. But yeah, this was actually kind of a sweet scene, and it only really works because how fun and infectious the woman playing Kevis was in the last episode. If it was a different actress who couldn't pull off that level of charm, this scene really wouldn't make sense, or at least it wouldn't have the same effect. Because I can see why Guy cares, but if it was a different portrayal, I wouldn't understand why I should care. So, really good choice in the actress last episode. Still kind of a shame that you killed her, because we meet Kev's friend, and her name is, I forgot her whole name throughout the whole episode. Her name is Doris, and Doris is, I don't know the thing about Doris, because she's introduced as Kev's friend. She's a little bit more reserved. She knows guys Talamasca, and she's explaining all these things like, oh yeah, we sent Kevis to spy on you. She's supposed to learn if you're okay or not, and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, like, why can we just got this from Kevis? Why can this have been Kevis telling us this? Like, a guy found out Kevis was a witch without her telling him. That was her big blowout. And then she has to come clean on what she knows. I mean, you could argue that this is a part of the detective, spy, noir themes. The femme fatale, or thought femme fatale, dies. Now the hero is extra motivated to solve the crime, which is good. It's a good trope. It works. I just don't see why we had to lose such a fun, so far fun character to replace by this other character. And that's just me, though. And we next thing that we get the reason why Owen is being such a bitch and letting Jasper run the London Mother House. And it turns out because he's dying of cancer. He's dying of cancer, and Jasper is feeding him his blood, let him blot his scarring with his blood to kind of stave off the the destruction. And this is all good and all. It also has me wondering, why does it need to be Jasper? I mean, the Talamasca have access to all these weird supernatural stuff. Witchcraft in here is much more different from witchcraft in the books, where it's a little bit more it's much more based off psychic and mutant stuff. Why couldn't he have a witch cure him of cancer? Why does he just go to motherfucker? Why does he just go to New Orleans and have Rowan Mayfair, who's basically now a demigod, cure him of his cancer? You think I don't know. And vampires are exploding in this world. Apparently, there's like 1,600 of them currently, at least from season 2 of Interview with a Vampire. So why can you just find some dumb Joe Mo vampire and tell him, "Hey, make me immortal and I'll make you rich." Boom. Why does he particularly need Jasper? Also, fun fact, or not so fun fact, why is Jasper just sitting out in the open living room? I mean, yeah, he has the blinds pulled back, but you still see a lot of sunlight leaking out into the room. And this is still the one of the things, one of the main changes, or at least a few changes that really ticks me off. Well, not ticks me off, just irritates me from the what they changed from the books is that sunlight, it just doesn't seem as deadly and destructive to vampires like it is in the novels. Because in the novels, like, you need just a little bit of sunlight getting on a vampire, and they just kind of bush. They just ash. And here, though, also in the novels, when it doesn't matter if you're ancient, really, if the sun comes up, you kind of have to go to sleep. It's just the law. But here, though, Jasper, all he has to do is just blinds, blinds. Okay, I'm safe. I do have I have a video that I think I want to make about the little things that kind of irked me about these adaptations. None of them all are bad. Well, Mayfair Witches is bad, but one thing is that they making the supernatural in these adaptations seem a lot less weird and alien. They're very censored and mundane. I mean, not really the interview the vampire aspect, but Mayfair Witches and Talamasca, the supernatural just feels so much more mundane. It doesn't feel weird and alien, kind of like when you, which was the feeling I got when reading the novels. What else I have written down here? All right, so I almost forgot this part. So we finally learn how the revenant vampires are created. So remember that weird guy that got his car stolen by Salamad or Saladad in the in the second episode? Well, he's getting a little bit rowdy at the pub, thinking he got a promotion to go to Jakarta or something. And that's basically Jasper's excuse why this guy goes missing. Jasper's handler or his best friend or whatever kidnaps him, and they bring him down to the basement of the mother house. Now, we don't. It's not told us in the show that this is the basement of the mother house. It was actually told in one of the behind the scenes preview. So that kind of sucks that the preview ruined that. Because that would have been a very, very fun reveal in the show. But the annoying dude wakes up there and he is making all kinds of threats like, "Hey, you can't do this to me. My brother-in-law or something is a cop. He'll mess you up. I can pay you. I can get you girls." And this, you see how Jasper is making the reference. So he, Jasper bites him and starts drinking his blood. Normal vampire stuff. But unlike what Lestat did to Louis and Claudia, Jasper doesn't drain him of his blood till the point of death. He doesn't even do anything else to bring him to that breaking point of, the mortal veil. He just drinks a little bit of his blood, and then he gets his friend to bring over this jar, which I can only assume contains his own blood, Jasper's blood, and he has him drink from that cup. And we can automatically tell it starts having some weird effect where he's kind of starts to growl a little bit. The blood starts to foam out from his lips, and then they start burying him alive. Now, I did see this on X that apparently this is how it's revealed the revenants are made in one of the later books, which I don't know how I feel about that because I kind of like the weird explanation that some people are just some people are just made like that when you make them a vampire, or maybe the revenant is made when you kill the person all the way and there's no body, there's no soul to control the blood, and so it just come back as a weird zombie. I don't know, that's just me. But it was kind of a cool reveal. I kind of like it. I hope it's talked and explained a little bit more of in the next episode. I just want to know how he's training them, because Because we did see in the first episode he is training them like kind of like dogs, like attack dogs, the clicker. So I hope we explore a little bit more of that. And all right, so Guy's intelligence is very growing this episode because we follow Helen as she goes to this weird Talamasca house. She's exploring it, and all of a sudden, Guy is there. He's like, "Yeah, I've tailed you. I figured it out." So good on Guy. He's getting better at the spy stuff. And we learn a little bit about this house. Apparently, it was the Hawkins lab of the Talamasca. They took a bunch of kids there and tried to do experiments on them, see if they had any gifts. And Helen is she tells this backstory about how she's there and why she was there, but while she's telling it, we see a flashback and she's there with her sister. She has a twin sister, or at least I think the girls are twins. They look like twins to me. But she's not saying she has a sister to Guy. So that is a fun little trick to show that, yeah, she's being very deceptive. She's telling lies. She's keeping truths to herself. That is a fun way to show that. But I still wonder how this is gonna play out. Like, is that why she wants the 752? Because she wants to know where her sister is. She wants to figure out if her sister is alive or dead. I'm under the idea that maybe her sister is Guy's mom, because we see her have like a wig in her house and in her apartment or whatever earlier in the episode, and I don't know, maybe that could have been her. Maybe that picture of Guy's mom we saw in the first episode was actually just Helen in disguise. But I think the woman looked younger in that photo. I'm not sure yet. Helen decides to spill the full song on Guy. She lets him know about Jasper, she doesn't know about Jasper and how he's controlling Owen. And her biggest advice to Guy is to walk into the mother house and make it up as you go. I don't get it. Maybe it's because you realize he's not, into this spy life, so maybe him just being honest or making stuff up would just be the better option. Maybe she doesn't want Jasper to read his mind and know about Helen. I don't fully get that one. I forgot to mention, the detective lady pops up throughout the episode. She spots Olive posing as a government agent to get the autopsy pics of Archie. And during those pictures, we see fang marks on him, so it was a vampire. But Jasper later claims that he did nothing to Archie. So we do have a third vampire. And I think we see him in the preview and is a whole new character, which sucks. I thought we could get a cameo from, I don't know, Armand or what's his name? Sam, the vampire Sam. That'd been fun. Detective Lady sees CC. I'm sorry I'm calling her Detective Lady. I really am. It's just, I don't care about this character. The story and the actress has done nothing spectacular for me to notice or pay attention to her, so I'm just gonna keep calling her Detective Lady from now on until until I remember her name. She sees CCTV of Guy following Archie, but they don't have a good look on his face. So she goes to the witches to ask questions. The only thing this does is make Kevin's friend, or Doris, suspicious of Guy. She wants to see if Guy's okay. And I don't know if I missed something, but I really want to know how did Detective Lady know about the witch coven? Because as she's talking to Doris, it's pretty clear she doesn't know that they're witches. But I want to know, why did she go to that wake? How did she know it was a wake for Kevis? Was it on social media? Was it because she was following Guy? I don't understand. That part I did not get. So Guy, ignoring his medication, he makes his way to the mother house and starts bucking Owen, threatening to call the police until Jasper pulls the handy-dandy vampire time stop. It really is a vampire power bargain bin in the show, isn't it? So, Guy decides to tell Jasper the truth about everything. Who he is, why he's here, the 752, everything we have seen since episode 1. At first I thought maybe Guy was being truthful just in case Jasper got inside his head. But then Guy goes all basically he just wants to tear the Talamasca down, wants to burn it to the ground. He wants to burn Helen. He wants to know where his mother is. He says, he more or less going, screw the Talamasca. I'll help find the 752 and give it to you just to piss Helen off. Which is the vibe I got. Which, I'm kind of liking this. I'm kind of liking this. It does feel like for him to go a little too um scorched. It feels like a little too soon for him to go full on scorched earth because, yeah, well, Helen has been lying and deceitful to him. He is still literally making a power play with a vampire. And a guy who kills people with no regard and can literally just stop time. I don't know. I feel like I still throw myself in with Helen, but then again, Helen did say that she basically made it so that if he tries to go back to the States without their permission, something bad is going to happen. So maybe Jasper is the better option. But when Guy does try to leave, does he gain some freaky vibes from Jasper? Jasper's like, oh, ho, 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 wait, stop right there. I think you and I can be pretty good friends. And I do love, I, fuck, I'm forgetting the actor's name right now. The guy playing Jasper. I know his name, I can't think of it. But yeah, I really love his portrayal. I'm still having a little bit issues with some of the direction in the show. His portrayal and acting is still stellar. Again, I think I like him. Was it William Fichtner? Fichtner. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I love him whenever I see him. Don't see him often, but I love him when I see him. And the episode ends with Doris watching outside of the mother house. Apparently she was there for some time, waiting for Guy to come out, and gets a little worried when he doesn't. So are her and her coven going to lead some kind of witchy attack on the mother house to rescue Guy? And I don't know. This doesn't really seem like it from the episode preview for next week. And like I said, this show is just so weird. And not like the fun weird, which is like the books where it's weird and freaky. It's more like I feel like there's two inconsistent tones the show's going for. There's like the funny, fun spy aspect of the show, and then there's the more darker, supernatural noir aspect of the show. And the two are kind of fighting each other, but there's not like a good balance between both. Like, at least I would say, because the comedy for this episode was very toned down, which I think episode 2 was a lot more comedic. But yeah, I would say this probably is my favorite episode so far. If I had to rank, it would be episode 3, 2, then no, episode 3, 1, and 2. I'm gonna keep watching. I'm gonna keep watching because it's the only show on TV, only new show that I'm watching at the current moment. So I'm not gonna stop watching it. It's gonna tie me over until The Vampire Lestat comes out, and I'm getting tied over for that because all I do is keep watching Interview with the Vampire. But yes, I do hope there's a point for the show, like in the universe. Like, how is this going to lead to the Vampire Lestat? How is this going to connect to the Queen of the Damned? How is this connect to Mayfair Witches? And I hope there's a reason for it. Like, maybe the 752 is going to reveal something about those who must be kept. Maybe it's going to reveal something about the spirits in Lasher, or something else. Maybe about Minnock. That'd be... Because the shows have turned down a lot of the really religious themes from the novels. But I really would be cool if we do get Minnock the Devil. But that'll probably be like season 7 or something. God damn, that's gonna take a long time. Earlier, like an hour or two earlier, I was just scrolling on Twitter. I understand Twitter is Reddit, and apparently they casted Michael for the next season of Mayfair Witches. Which, if you do not know, Michael is one of the main characters from the books. Like he's from the first book. He's Rowan's main love interest. He's her husband, and what the fuck is with the writers at Mayfair Witches? They just love to butcher the novel. They just love to butcher that novel, those books. Goddamn, goddamn. All right, I'm gonna end it. We've been talking for 30 minutes. I have no idea why, but yeah, episode 3, good episode. Really enjoyed it. Had fun watching 2 times to do this review. So until Monday or Tuesday, whenever next episode gets posted on here, I'll see you all then. Catch the stream tomorrow. Love you all. Bye bye.